G'day, hi and welcome. Alright, I'll just show you what I did there. So we saw that one. Well, that cleaned up pretty good. This might take another go, but it's definitely better. You see all that little osmosis stuff here. I want all that gone. Sometimes even if you go out over it dry after, it takes a little more out. Underneath the railing is going to be hard to get, but I got little brushes and stuff like that to do it. I did the upper deck here just to show you the difference. I don't want to trip here. You can see like the lines like right there. Clean. Not so clean. Still probably take a second go, but it really cleaned up here really nice. There's still a couple of little pieces in there that, again, a few scrubbings. If you have a pressure washer, probably come in on the first shot. Cleaned up there a bit, stepping right where it was all cleaned. Did up here, cleaned up a little bit more. So I'll just keep going over it, and I'll get it done. What I'm going to do is just to show, like you see here, this is the worst spot I think on the boat is right here. A couple going over here I think will definitely clean that up. So you can see there's a little bit of a gray and a little bit of a brown or whatever. And I want to get all that out of the deck because that is the beginning of the osmosis, right? So you get that out and then you seal it up with deck sealer or whatever. Which becomes the next question. Some people say, there's two schools of thought on this, but should you wax your anti-skid or should you not? Now, there's two schools of thought here. Number one is that, no, you don't, a little bit chalky, not bad though. You don't wax your anti-skid because it defeats the purpose. The second school of thought is that was the point of the anti-skid, so when you wax your deck, you still got something to kind of grip a bit. What I can tell you, whichever way you choose, I do kind of wax the deck because that's what you'll get dry rot if you don't. Okay, surface stuff is not so bad because you'll eventually get it out, but it gets into the deck. That's it. Like, I mean, this deck is pretty solid. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. It doesn't have too many leaks, but it's. I've always kept the boat up pretty good, but it's at the point where now I got to really make sure I seal things up. For the first time I have leaks in the boat over the winter, and it's like, okay, well, I better nip that in the bud before it turns into a major problem. So what I do is I basically, it's hard to buff this stuff. You can't really buff it, so you best probably to put the get a really hard bristled brush, get more solid wax or something really, actually not solid but more liquidy that really seeps in, and then just smear it in there the best you can, wipe it off and just work it in there. It's tedious, it's slow, but it works, and then you don't have to worry about the sun killing your boat. And you'll get, I mean, this boat is nobody really knows how old this boat is. This is a 78, a 76, a 78, or an 81. It depends where you look on this boat. It's really hard. I don't know the exact age of this boat. It's titled as a 76, I think. But so in other words, this boat is as old as I am anyway, most likely. But then I got a plate on there that says 81. So maybe the hull was made in 76. And was titled in 76, but the boat was completed in 81. I can't see it because Hughes Boatworks, they opened and closed a few times. Then they had the big fire, so maybe this is one of the boats that wasn't finished in time and was just sitting there until it was completed in 81. And then I can't remember when, or it was a fire in 92. But anyway, you can go over the Hughes Boatworks history. It links back to Howard Hughes and stuff like that, and Sparkman and Steffens designs. This is a Sparkman and Steffens design. Hughes Boatworks Canada built it. Pretty cool boat, 9-foot beam on it. It's a pretty beamy boat for a 26-footer. But if you want to make these things last, I mean, this is a great boat. I don't know when it'll ever get in the water again, but it's bought and paid for. That's why I'm so hesitant to sell it. Sail it, yes. I'm not hesitant to sail it, but to sell it. That's where my hesitation. But anyway, yes, that is the effect I got with the toilet bowl cleaner, the Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. And when I'm done the boat, I'll do another in-depth on it. But I'm going to do the entire boat. I won't get it all done today. I'm doing a gazillion things today. Got yard cleanup that I'm doing. I'm got to deal with my grapevines over there. Got to do something with the canoes. I just got so much stuff to do. Hopefully I get rid of that trailer pretty soon there. It's just, I hate having stuff that I'm not using. But with the boat, I actually enjoy working on them almost as, it's usually the other way around. I hate working on stuff, but for some reason I like working on boats. I don't know why that is. It's like, it's just, I find it therapeutic. And it's masochistic work. That's the whole thing. Like, maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But, yeah, it's hard on the knees being bent. So get yourself good knee pads if you're going to be scrubbing the deck. But if I had the money, I'd buy myself a nice little pressure washer, and then I can do everything in 5 minutes and pressure wash the boat like 5 times a year, once a month or something like that throughout the summer. Wax it up in between, and it'll be glorious. But just I mean, again, that's nice and bright and white, and from an angle you could still see the sheen on it. So it's not super glossy, but it will be once I get the deoxidizer, the polish, and then the wax on it, and then you'll be like, woo, and that'll be protected for the season. Then the next thing is to go around and just keep plugging away at it, so eventually all that stuff keeps coming off, and eventually you get it all done. To sit there and pick at it with a wire brush, the wire brush doesn't get in there. You'd think it would, but maybe if you get a really small, detailed wire brush, it might work. But I think what it needs is something to loosen it up, and I think that's what the Lysol did. It is toxic stuff, like anything. If it doesn't cause cancer, it won't do the job. But the Lysol basically is toilet bowl cleaner, and you put it on for about 15 minutes. Let it sit, you work it in or whatever, and just let it sit for about 15 minutes, about a 50-50 dilution. I did less than 50-50. It's probably like 90-10 mix that I got, a very weak dose, because the stuff is kind of toxic. I only use it on the spots where it's really going to need it. Like here, I don't need to use it, you know what I mean? A regular boat wash should probably do that. And then what I do is I go with it with the brush, and then before I rinse it off, could either wipe it down or just hose it off, whatever, or pressure washer it off if you're lucky enough to have access to a pressure washer, and do that. But the goal is to get all this stuff off before it becomes a problem. And as I get it all cleaned up, I'll do it. But this year I'm gonna have to do the railings, because that's where I think I got some of the leaks. My boat windows don't leak. I did a good job on those, and usually about every 5 years you gotta kind of reseal everything up if you did a good job on it. If you did a lousy job, you got to do it every year, but if you do a good job, about every 5 years. I'm a little overdue, so this boat has been up here, believe it or not, 10 years. I can't believe it's been here 10 years. Spent more time out of the water than in the water. What a shame. But like anything, everything costs. All toys cost money. But this also becomes a bit of a I'm a long way from retirement. But it also becomes a bit of a retirement problem. It doesn't cost me anything to keep it here, so it does become a bit of a retirement project. So I'll just get it all ready to go in the water, and then maybe if the offer's right, I'll sell it off. But you pay so much for these things, it's kind of like you just don't want to give them away. I would be willing to trade for a smaller boat with a trailer, so that I could, do like a small race boat, like a J24 or a Kirby 25 or something like that, but with a trailer. Something of almost equal trade. This boat, it's kind of like, I paid, I think, $10,500 for it. But it was the best shape Hughes 26 that I looked at, like 10 of them, and I was specifically looking for this model of a boat, just because there's some features on this boat that if you're looking for a cruising boat that's a 26-footer, there's some features on this that are pretty cool, such as the 9-foot beam. If you want a little faster boat, the second boat was definitely a Tanzer 26. Probably the better boat to go for. Easier to find, a lot faster. Well, a lot faster is like relative. I mean, it's a knot faster, maybe a knot and a half faster. This boat cruises 4.5, 4.2, 4.5 knots, 5.5 knots. I think I might have peaked at 6.1 knots at one point, but slow and steady is kind of more of this boat's pace. But it's just a well-built boat. That's one of the, probably why they went out of business, is they were probably putting too much fiberglass into the boat. Nowadays, boats are designed to put just enough material so that it's safe enough to use. Like this was like they didn't know how, they couldn't computerly figure out how much glass to put in it, so they overbuilt it. And I like that concept of overbuilt. It's not the stiffest of boats, but it is pretty stiff. It does, but it handles. Like on the water, that's where this thing shines, obviously. It's a good cruising boat. Great upwind performance. Maybe not speed-wise, but handling-wise. I mean, a 2-year-old could sail around on this thing. But yeah, I got lots of work ahead of me. And I'll leave it at that. And just showing you the difference. And yeah, there we go. And when I'm done the whole boat, I'll show you everything. And yeah, there we go.